If you are fortunate enough to see a UFO on your way home from work and are still around to tell the tale, you may wish to hold your tongue. For if you decide to go public with your story, you may come face to face with the entities known as the Men in Black. Now, when I say Men in Black, you may just think of the movie with Will Smith, but no. While these stories have the premise of aliens and shady government organizations, what I'm here to talk about today is quite real, and not some fictional story from 1997. Ever since there have been sightings of UFOs, there have been sightings of these strange men. It is said that should you ever see an alien spacecraft, you may expect a visit within days, weeks, or even months later. These tall men will arrive at your front door, at your place of work, try to find you and ask you, what have you seen? Interrogate you, scare you even, into believing that what you saw was in fact not real, and gaslighting you into believing that you just made it up. Your memories are fake. What you saw never happened. But who are these people, and what do they want? The first reported case of this happened on the 27th of June 1947 with a Harold Dahl as he was travelling on his boat near Washington's Maury Island. He was on this boat with his son Charles and two other crew members, as well as their family dog. He stated that when they were travelling on this river, he looked up and he noticed 6 donut-shaped craft that were just hovering above him, about half a mile above. Suddenly, one of these craft seemingly fell 1,500 feet down, showering them with metal debris, hitting Charles on the arm, and unfortunately killing the family dog. During this ordeal, Harold was able to take some photographs of these craft, and upon developing them and returning to his supervisor, Fred Chrisman, Fred wanted to see these craft for himself, being skeptical, rightly so. So, upon venturing out into the water near Maury Island, where Harold first saw these craft, Fred ended up seeing them for himself. However, the next morning, Dahl stated that he was visited by a man in a dark suit. This strange individual was able to recount Harold Dahl's story, even though it happened not even 24 hours before. This man said not to speak of the incident, or bad things would happen to Dahl. After a government investigation, it was deemed that Dahl's story was a hoax, after Dahl and Fred both admitted as much. However, it does beg the question, was it a hoax? After all, whoever this man was, he had instructed Dahl to keep this encounter a secret, or bad things would happen. And after going against this strange man's word, Dahl seemingly went back in his story. So it does beg the question, was Dahl visited by this person again? And coerced into admitting that this whole thing was just a hoax? However, the most popular story, the one that has been most widely circulated, happened a lot later, on May the 15th, 2009. However, before we get to 2009, we have to venture back 7 months, to October the 14th, 2008. Shane Sovar, the general manager of the Sheraton Hotel on the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls, was with a security guard on that night when they witnessed something peculiar. They said they witnessed a triangular-shaped UFO, which is about 240 feet long, with 3 white lights on all the 3 sides of the craft, and a red pulsing light in the center. They continued to observe this object for around 10 minutes or so, watching the craft emit a beam of white light, seemingly searching around the water. After a while, this beam then turned on the 2 witnesses, seemingly understanding that they were watching them. 7 months had passed since this encounter, and the bellman of the Sheraton Hotel was working in the lobby that day when he said that 2 tall men wearing black overcoats entered the lobby and approached him. These 2 strange men approached the bellman and asked for the hotel manager. However, as it happened, the manager wasn't present that day. Having told them this, these 2 men didn't believe him and began searching around anyway. However, not finding him, they eventually left. The following day, Shane Sobar, the hotel manager, returned to work as normal, and was soon approached by the bellman, asking him to speak with him in private. The bellman said that he was freaked out by this encounter, as these two men were far from normal. He said that these men were pale in complexion and wore outfits that were seemingly more akin to what people would wear in the 1960s than in 2009. She explained that these men were seemingly looking right into her mind, as their large blue unblinking eyes were staring directly into her soul, trying to grasp at the information as to where this hotel manager was. She said that it got so bad that she actively tried to not think of Shane, lest they steal a thought straight from her mind. However, the most remarkable thing about this case is that these two men were captured on the CCTV footage after the manager went straight to the recordings of what happened the day before. This current encounter, unlike the first sighting, is yet unresolved, as all the witnesses' accounts are deemed credible. There are many more accounts and sightings like these, way too many for this particular video, but it does beg the question, who are they, and what do they want? There are two popular theories as to who these men are. The first and most credible is that these men are simply the agents of some government organization who wish to keep these sightings secret. They interrogate and ask witnesses what they have seen, as to maybe not cause a panic in the general population. Or simply, these sightings are just classified government projects that the government wishes to remain classified. And the second and most unsettling option is that these people are not of this planet. These are simply otherworldly entities that find witnesses of their own alien activity and interrogate them and ask them questions as to what they have seen, maybe for their own research purposes, or maybe researching what effects this had on them. This would explain the unsettling appearance of these government entities, as merely it may be because the aliens are trying to copy what a government agent looks like, but have just missed the finer details, such as the unnerving facial expressions, or the lack of eyebrows or eyelashes, or even the need to blink, because it might be the possibility that these aliens just simply don't have these features and don't quite understand why the humans need them, and therefore they just left them out. This theory could be supported by the sighting of the entity known as Indrid Cold, but that is another topic for another time. It's safe to say that should you encounter an otherworldly sighting, be prepared to come face to face with the men in black.